And that's okay. And we should expect that. The question is, the governor in particular, what are the priorities going to be? How is he going to work collaboratively with the legislature to push the legislature to deliver on that ambitious agenda? And unlike our current governor, I will.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kate, and I live here in Jamaica Plain. First of all, thank you for running. And my question is, I'm interested in some of the policies that you think would be feasible at the statewide level to address the environmental impact of our food system. In particular, I'm interested in things around styrofoam, plastic bags, and a lot of the consumer waste that happens in these fast casual restaurants that don't even offer a non-disposable container, but also everything else from farm to flush as well.
Yeah. So this is another area where we have huge opportunity to do better. On a community-by-community basis, a number of communities are doing smart things like banning plastic bags and styrofoam and other stuff. I was told recently by someone, I can't remember who spends a lot of time going to, I think on the South Shore, cleaning up plastic bottles from that end up polluting our beach. And that the volume of it is unbelievable. So there's a lot of opportunity. I think we need to provide leadership at the state level on this, statewide policies in these areas that are going to help drive us to more sustainable products in our food system. When it comes to farming, we've got a lot of great local farmers in Massachusetts. I've had one of the neat things about what I'm doing is I'm getting to meet tons of people. Very early in my campaign, I went to Western Massachusetts and met with a big group of farmers who shared a lot of what they're up against and what the opportunities are. And they need a state government that's supporting them. Policies like one that almost didn't happen this year, I forget the acronym of it, but where at farmers markets, we are subsidizing people on food stamps being able to buy fresh local food at the farmers markets. We need to continue that program and invest in that program. I think the state government can do a lot of good in helping to market and provide connections for farmers with local food distributors and restaurants and supermarkets and others, and work intentionally to figure out what those connections can be and help support our local food industry here and help provide healthier, local, greener food options for all of us. So this is another area where there are a lot of people who are a lot smarter about this than I am, who I'm going to want to rely on for how do we really drive this and support local food sources and make our local food system cleaner. Thank you, Kate.
Hello, my name is Tim Havel. I live here in Jamaica Plain, and I'm a member of the Massachusetts chapter of the Public Banking Institute. My question is fairly simple. We had a bill in the legislature in the last session, which died in committee, to establish a public bank of Massachusetts for municipal infrastructure, which could have addressed renewable energy, but many other things as well. My question for you is, are you aware of what public banking is? Are you aware of the fact that it could raise as much capital as you're currently talking about raising from the wealthy, but without the same amount of pushback, except from some transnational banks, which would, out of paranoia only, lobby against it? And if you don't know about what public banking is and its potential, are you going to learn? Thank you.
Tim, thanks for the question. I have heard of it, and my understanding is North Dakota, maybe the one state where it exists.
It's actually about 40% of the banks in the world are public banks. It's not so common in the United States.
Yeah, but I think in the United States, maybe it's just North Dakota. So it's something I need to be better educated about.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and yes, I'm open to being better educated about it.
Good evening, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
My name is Haskell Werland. I'm a Jamaica Plain resident. I'm
board member of Mass Solar. Because of the corrupting influence of fossil fuel money and utility money in the campaign process, we know you've taken a no fossil fuel pledge. How are you going to confront Governor Baker, who's taking money from Columbia Gas, Eversource, and National Grid for both 2010 and 2014 campaigns?
I'm going to stick with you on it. Yeah. Well, no, but to the point, it's a really important point. So yes, we have taken the no fossil fuel pledge. No fossil fuel money. Governor Baker takes lots of money from wealthy special interests, including the utility companies. And that matters. It means those companies have more influence over his policies. And there are examples. The whole procurement process for the recent transmission of hydro from Canada to Massachusetts, which blew up in the Baker administration's face, where National Grid had basically every seat at the table in that process. I don't understand how that happens. This is probably part of how this happens. And I am running a grassroots financing campaign. I'm not relying on big, wealthy Republican donors funneling money through the Republican Governors Association and the Republican Party to Charlie Baker to help support his campaign and influence this election. I'm not relying on fossil fuel company donations. I'm not relying on corporate donations or big super PAC donations. I'm relying on individual donations at grassroots events or through lots of time making calls to fund and support our campaign. And we're not going to have as much money as Charlie Baker. But we have a strong grassroots campaign, and we're going to have enough money to make sure that people at the end of the day are informed about the choice in this election. We will be working to make sure people are informed that he is the tool of a lot of wealthy special interests that fund his campaigns. We challenged him to take a no NRA pledge. He refused. We challenged him to take a no super PAC, the so-called People's Pledge that Elizabeth Warren and Scott Brown took. He refused. He's been benefiting from millions and millions of dollars of super PAC money that's buying TV commercials, flooding the airwaves right now. We're going to beat him anyway, the old-fashioned way, through one-on-one conversation, knocking on doors, making calls. So we need your help doing it. We need your help doing it.
Hello, Mr. Gonzalez. When you get to be Governor Gonzalez, you're going to be one of 50 very, very important persons in the government and persons in the city, in the country. And so, in light of that, I wanted to ask you about Phillips Light Company. The Phillips Light Company is being transferred to Mexico and Canada due to NAFTA, and I know NAFTA came out just this morning.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you that when you get to be governor, can you please tell all the people, and certainly tell the 9 members of the federal government, because even though you're not going to be voting, you will be very influential, to only vote for NAFTA if it has excellent, enforceable environmental rules, as well as labor and no ISDS. Please do.
So, thank you for your question. I agree that the free trade agreements we entered into should have strong environmental protections and labor standards. I don't know the details of what NAFTA has just become. It's now got a new name. I don't know the details of it. But, you know, your point is an important one. There are certain things the federal government is doing that the governor of Massachusetts doesn't have any direct control over. But the governor of Massachusetts sometimes needs to speak up for the values and interests of the people of Massachusetts, particularly now, with the president with hateful and divisive rhetoric, with all these policies that are taking us backwards, not just environmental policies, but a whole slew of policies, taking civil rights and basic protections away from people. We need a governor who is forcefully standing up and fighting back against all of that. Recognizing, I'm not naive, I know the governor of Massachusetts isn't going to dictate what Donald Trump does. But the people of Massachusetts deserve a governor that is standing up and fighting for the values and interests of the people of Massachusetts. And I will.
Thank you so much for your great questions. I personally apologize. We have to stop here. Jay Gonzalez is going to give some closing remarks. I just want to give a warm applause. Thank you for answering all those questions. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here and for the positive engagement. I just want to end with this. I know what some of you are thinking. How are you going to win this thing? He's really popular. He's so tall. I know you're thinking, but tall is overrated. That's my objective opinion.
That's funny.
But look, I know what we're up against. An incumbent governor with millions and millions of dollars of dark money, all the wealthy special interests and corporate establishment on his side, all the pundits declaring this race over before it has even started. But as we've seen in races across this country, and as Ayanna Pressley and other insurgent candidates showed us right here in Massachusetts just a few weeks ago, incumbency and money and special interests and pundits and polls don't decide elections. We do. We decide. We decide. There are a lot of people in this room right now who've been working very hard, knocking on doors, making calls, talking to friends and neighbors and colleagues about why this race is so important. That's how we're going to win. I know I'm the little guy in this election, literally and figuratively. I know that. But I also know that time and time again, little guys overcome overwhelming odds when their cause is just. They aim high, work hard, and support each other along the way. We have, thanks to many of you in this room and thousands of others all across the state, a very strong grassroots campaign and lots of momentum. But we need your help. It's not enough to come share your views on the issues you care about. It's not enough to make sure your candidate cares about the same things, or cares enough, or is going to drive the agenda that you want him or her to drive. You need to work to help us get elected. I can only get in front of so many people over the course of this campaign. As I said, we're going to win this through all those one-on-one interactions. Knocking on doors, making calls, putting bumper stickers on your car, signs in your yard, doing everything you can. We need your help. So please sign up to help. But if you do, I am 100% confident we will win this election. We will aim high. We will make Massachusetts a leader again. And we will make a meaningful difference for people all across this state. Thank you very much for being here tonight.